This is the dimension of unbelievability. It is an area which we call the Frauditor Zone. In today's episode, Midwest Accountability gets arrested for obstruction, and his buddy, Hillsborough Cop Watch, is kind enough to get it all on video.
We don't have to listen to your unlawful directives, bud. We're free people.
Yes, you are free people. For the moment. Give it some time, and we'll come back to this.
They just saying I'm a bullshit. They just put up the cameras.
Hey, step back behind those squad cars, please.
Why is that?
Keep your
Move
hand
back
out
where
of
he's
your
at,
pocket.
okay?
Don't touch me.
Take your hand out of your pocket for me, man.
Why?
So, you're here right now obstructing this traffic
How
stop.
am I
He asked
obstructing?
you to move back. He's trying to
The
search
stop
the
is
car.
over there.
That's
He can
not
search it. I'm not
obstructing.
doing anything. I'm not saying a word to nobody. Do your job and leave me alone.
Do me a favor.
Are you scared of a camera?
Over there.
Name and badge number.
Do me a favor.
Name and badge number. Name and
Is there a
badge
reason
number.
why you don't want to stand over there?
Is
Have
there
I broken the
reason?
law?
You're obstructing our traffic.
I'm not
stop
obstructing.
right now, man.
I'm not obstructing anything. Name and badge number. It is in your policy to ID when asked by a member of the public.
So it's not.
It is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
So are you gonna
Name
step
and
back?
ID.
You're gonna step back
How do I know you're a real cop? I can get that clown outfit anywhere.
Come on, just step back
No,
there.
give me your name and badge number before I do anything.
So here's the thing.
So here's the thing,
You
in
gotta
this
step
day and
back
age,
with him.
right? Name and badge number, so I know who I'm talking to. It's that simple.
So what's your name then?
I don't have to. I don't have an obligation to identify myself. You have a gun, you have a badge supposedly, and you don't want to ID yourself.
So here's the thing. He's doing a traffic stop.
Okay,
He
the
told you
stop
to
is
stand
over
back
there. I'm
He
10
told
foot
you to
away.
Stand back where you were, and now you walked up on the car.
Yeah,
Left
to
feet
watch
coming.
him searching the vehicle. You don't need to know. I haven't broken the law. Do you suspect me of a crime?
What you're doing here?
What's
You
your name
put
and
your
badge
hand
number?
In the parking lot. I'm Deputy Byerline.
Byerline, and your badge number.
10238.
All right, and you. Name and badge number.
What's your name?
I don't have to give that information.
Okay, well, I don't tell you that either.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You're a public servant.
First of all, there is no such thing as a public servant. Secondly, there is no federal statute that requires police officers to identify themselves. That would be instead up to the individual police departments to make that policy if they so choose. Thirdly, if a police officer says that it isn't part of their policy, but a frauditor who got this information from another frauditor or on the dark web says it is, I'm going to believe the officer. Lastly, this is not an issue that should be argued there. The officer is busy with a traffic stop, and he's not going to sit down and have a robust debate with him about it. What should be done is take it up with the Internal Affairs Department, and if he's right, then it's his lucky day. He can finally file a complaint that isn't frivolous and could possibly get the officer in trouble. So, given these options, why would a frauditor still choose to argue it during a police investigation when an officer is telling him to step back away from the scene? I should really go to the frauditor camps and offer to do some training there. I'll even do it for free, because that's just the kind of person I am.
It doesn't matter.
You're live on the internet right now.
Okay, that's
Okay,
all right.
you're going to be getting a lot of calls about
here's
this.
the thing, man.
Name and ID,
All I
or
want
you
you
can.
to do-
I got nothing more to say to you.
Okay, just step back for us.
I'm not coming any closer than this right here.
I'm asking you step back behind the squad
You're
cars,
asking.
okay?
Denied.
Okay. Show 30?
Yeah, that's
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
Yeah, I'll get you.
I'm not breaking the law. I'm not.
He's just been arrested, guys. Live on YouTube.
You're physically walking
I'm
up
not
on us
physically
when
interfering.
We asked
I'm
you
not
to
in the
step
middle
back.
of you and
We're in
your
the middle of a
stop.
traffic search.
I'm not in the
so
middle
that's
of you
why.
and your stop.
Okay. So what's your name?
He's not physically interfering.
Okay, so you're under arrest right now for obstruction. So do you want another
Obstruction
try?
is a physical act. He was not obstructing. How can you be obstructing from 10 feet away?
What's your name?
Every single frauditor seems to say this over and over again, but they never take the time to even do a simple Google search to see if it's true. If they did, they would see it as their very first answer, so they wouldn't even have to take much time from their busy frauditing day to get the answer. And the question of how can it be obstructing from 10 feet away is so stupid. It's obstructing if the officer needs you to be and tells you to be more than 10 feet away from the scene. There is no law that states a frauditor has to be within a certain number of feet before it can be seen as obstructing. Just the opposite, actually, like the new law in Arizona that prohibits people from recording the police if they are within 8 feet. If there is no actual law, then it's up to the officer to decide what the distance needs to be.
We'll get to all that stuff, but what's your name?
I'm pleading the fifth.
In this day and age, this is what cops do. They'll make an excuse to.
Right now, we have obstruction on this traffic stop. If you want to obstruct your identification,
That's a secondary charge. Obstruction is a secondary charge. So you want to keep going with it?
Come back to this one.
The charges will get dismissed. Obstruction is a physical act. I have a neighbor who works in internal affairs. I asked him that same question.
I'd love to know who this neighbor is. I'm guessing it's a neighbor who heard it from a friend of a friend, or he's lying, or both.
Recording in public is not a crime.
Well, now it makes more sense. If he does have this neighbor from internal affairs, he asked if recording in public is a crime, and like a typical frauditor, twisted the answer to have a completely different meaning.
And we thought for sure it'd be me before you. Thank you.
Fucking pig.
Can I get your name and badge number again?
I never give it to you.
Oh, can I get it then, please?
We're not responsible to. So
You're not?
It'll be in the report. You can forward the report, but we do not have to give you a name and
Yes,
badge number just
you
because
do.
you're telling me I need to give you.
Yes, you
Really?
do.
Yes.
Okay. We will definitely be looking that one up. I think that's part of your policies and procedures.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
This will be the first city I've ever been in that's ever been that way then.
So what? He's in a city now that has a police department that doesn't have a policy that requires officers to identify themselves. So this just might be the first city he's ever been in that's been that way, but there's a first time for everything. Now he should try doing other things for the first time, like having some decency, getting facts so he doesn't sound like such a frauditing fool, taking a shower, etc., etc.
No, that's not my fault.
He's a tyrant.
No, we don't do that. Okay, just don't sit too far back.
And do you have your body cam on? Okay.
I'm just gonna tell you, you don't have to sit sideways, sit however you can get comfortable.
So, is he going to be able to get me out tonight? Or? Hey, Vern,
What?
come down there to the jail.
I will.
Let me run that truck right there. That's gonna be the truck. We'll try and get an idea.
Okay.
And we wonder why there's such a disconnect.
Who is we? You mean you. And when you get off your high horse and open your mind to seek some real change, you might not have to wonder as much, because then you can be more part of the solution and less part of the problem. The video went on for a few more minutes with the usual boring Frauditor banter. I know that he was released that night, but on the bright side, there have been so many Frauditor arrests very recently that I haven't been able to focus on any other type of Frauditor video. I'm almost to the point where I wish they'd stop getting arrested so I can go back to exposing the other idiots that only get trespassed or detained. But, almost doesn't count. For today's segment of the Frauditor Fatigue Cooldown, it's time to forget all about the Frauditors and concentrate on something fun instead. So, I present to you, per request, baby elephants.